Hello, good day everyone. This is Majid. I am today with a new video, a new part of this AWS DevOps project, which will be the part 5 of this video and web series. If you have followed along with me in all these videos, you would have already been through all these green ticked resources that we have created in all our previous videos. And today we will be doing some more work in order to uh, complete this architecture. And in this video we as a developer will push some code to the GitHub, and then from the GitHub we will pull it through AWS and then bring it to the AWS a bucket, an S3 bucket, which I didn't show in this architecture properly, but that bucket will be somewhere here, um, uh, maybe here or maybe here. So, but we will discuss it in depth how this will work. If you have already an EC2 instance like I have right now, I have an instance that is running, and this is deployed through the auto scaling group, and this is already registered in the target group here. You can see it is healthy, and you can verify it by the ID 1D9, and it's already 1D9 here. That means that our instance is running. So I'm already connected to that instance, and you can see that if I cd here, then this instance is already running, and I have my app running here by the name app, and this is basically the app.js file in the code that I can show you here. Let's close all these files. I will be discussing these files in detail, so how they work. And this is the file, the app.js, and this project is already hosted in my repository here. I have all I have also merged some AWS files, appspec.yml and deployment scripts, but I will be discussing them in detail, so no worries. And you can find the link to this project in the video of this in the description of this video. So let's go and start our work. So I am already connected, and my project is here, which is called the AWS DevOps project sample. This is the folder. I can cd into it and then see what is in this folder, and this is already running. So what we will be doing is that we will be making some changes to this project, which is hosted here, and you can verify it. It's working, and it says node demo app message success version 1.1, and we are giving it the URL of the load balancer, and then the load balancer forwards this traffic to the target group, and the target group then forwards this traffic to the EC2, and this EC2 that I showed you has this project running through PM2, right? PM2 status, and this project is running, and that's how we are browsing the code. Now we want to make some changes to this project. How can we, when we make some changes in this project in our local environment, for example here, let's say if we want to say that node demo app changed, right? We want to make a pipeline through which we can, when commit this code to the GitHub to this repository here, is pulled from the AWS and then deployed to the EC2 instance. So for the first, for in this video, we will be deploying it to a single instance, EC2 instance. Then in the next video, we will be deploying it to multiple instances. So if you see the architecture, let's suppose we only have this one EC2 working now, and it can be increased by increasing the scale, the auto scaling group, the minimum and the desired quantities. So for time being, we are only targeting this one EC2. Then on the next video, we will be targeting no matter how many EC2 instances are there in the target group, right? So let's go and start our work from the code pipeline. You can find the code pipelines here in the services, and then the code pipelines. Before the code pipelines, if we want to create a pipeline, we need certain other things. The first which is we need to have an application. Application is basically a template. We want to tell the pipeline where to look the code, how to connect with the GitHub, how to pull the code, where to store it in the AWS, and then from the AWS how to deploy it in the EC2. This is the whole process. So we define the application here. application name. We will name it AWS DevOps project, right? Copy it and then select the compute platform. And by the way, sorry for my voice, it's a bit shaky here, so I need to pause the video from time to time and drink some water or like refresh myself. So for time being, let's see, uh, we are choosing the EC2 on-premise. We are skipping AWS Lambda, ECS. We might do them in the future videos, but let's see, only on the EC2. Then create the application. Then we need to go to the create deployment group and then create the deployment group. Name it as you want, deployment group. I'm naming it like that. Then we need to have a service role. So this code deploy role that you are seeing is being created by me, right? And if you want to create one, you can go to services and then to IAM and open a new tab, right? And then to the roles, and in the roles you can create new role, and then you can choose it from a list. You can choose code deploy, right? And then next, it only has this one AWS CodeDeploy role that is currently as a policy available. You can see the policy, all these things are there. Then you can click next, name it and save it here, right? And the same thing I have did. I will close this one, leave the page, and the same I have done here. I just name it code deploy role, right? So I'm selecting this, and this role is required for the purpose that it deploys to the EC2 instance, and there are some permission required to pull the code from AWS bucket and then deploy it on EC2. So those are all the permissions that we gave there. Then we need to come down, deployment type. We will choose in place or blue green. I'm preferring in place. Updates the instance in the deployment group with the latest application revisions, right? So I'm choosing this one. Then I'm choosing the AWS EC2 instance instead of all the other two. So I am choosing this one because I am deploying to only EC2 instance only once. If you are deploying to multiple instances at the same time, you can choose the auto scaling group, which we will do in the next video. So for time being, check this one. I am searching for my instance. So there might be many instances and you might be confused. So for time being, so if you want to clear to be sure that you are deploying to the correct instance, you should name that instance, which I did, like see this one. So I'm coming to select this one, and then I will change the key name to the key to name. So the name and the name will be this one. So the AWS understand that, okay, we need to deploy to this instance. Then it asks for install AWS CodeDeploy agent. No, never. We have already done that, and we done that in the first video, I guess, when we were creating the EC2 instance manually, and then we created an AMI. So that AMI is used in the launch templates, and because of the every EC2 creation on that launch template, we already have we are already sure that AWS CodeDeploy is already working there, and that is working there, right? So we would not be deploying, we would not be installing this code deploy agent with every pipeline run because it's already there. So it's never. Then we are choosing how should be the pattern. So for example, right now we only have one EC2 instance. So this pattern doesn't apply, or maybe it's useless for us. But suppose if we have multiple instances, how do you want to deploy it? You want to deploy all at once or one at a time? So I am choosing one at a time. Right now it's useless for us, but we still want to choose it one at a time. Do you want to enable load balancers? Do you want to respect it, the load balancers? So how this feature work? Suppose you have multiple instances running and they are behind a load balancer and there are many instances. So the code deploy will deploy it to one by one. It's one by one at the same time, and in between the load balancer will kick in and it will stop the traffic at that instance where the deployment is taking place, and then run all the scripts, deploy the code, and once everything is successful, it will then release the traffic to that instance. So that's why it's asking about load balancer. For time being, we are not checking it, but if you check it, then you need to show it the load balancer that you are working and the target group that you are working, right? So we are not showing it right now. We need to uncheck it, create the deployment group. So this deployment group is created now, and then we have some settings inside. We need to create a pipeline now. Come to pipelines, pipelines, create a pipeline, name the pipeline, copy the name and name it like pipeline, right? And v2, yeah, so we have two versions, v1 and v2. v2 is more advanced. You need to okay, it asks which execution mode you want: superseded, queued, or parallel. The parallel means that there might be two pipeline runs for the same project and it can deploy both, which will make problems, I'm sure, because there might come code conflicts. Queued is that let's finish the first one, then the second one comes up, right? And supersede means that the latest one will be prioritized on top of any other. So if there are, for example, 3 runs for like running right now for the same project, the very last run that very recently run will supersede everything else, which is again not the preferred. Maybe there are multiple developers working on the same project. So if one has deployed something and then the second developer comes up and deploys something, the second one will be prioritized over the first one. So the code from the first one will not be deployed if that code is not merged and pulled by the second developer. But this is not the way to the code pipelines should be run. The queued one is the best option here. So we come here the service role and we name it, and then we come to the advanced settings and we want to, okay, now it asks where should the code be pulled from the GitHub and laid in. So we are saying it should be laying in the bucket, and we name that bucket AWS DevOps project. If you didn't create this bucket, you should first go to Amazon S3 buckets and create one bucket for yourself, and we can see that in the buckets list. I already have a few buckets here, but you should create one for yourself here. Then we chose that bucket. Next, this service role name already exists. We should name this role. Okay, name it, rename it, and then next. Okay, source. Where should the code be pulled from? So we say version 2, GitHub version 2, connect to GitHub. It will ask for my credentials for the first time, but since I have already given that during practicing, so I will not be providing them. I should name it just like AWS project, connect to GitHub. It might ask for your app for your Git credentials, but I'm not giving it. Let's see. I have 2 types of repositories. One are organizational and one is my personal. So I'm choosing my personal, connect it. Okay, so the GitHub is connected. I can choose my repository now, AWS project sample, this one, which is this repository, right? And then I can uh, go and select a branch. This is the main branch that I'm having. Okay, so I am triggering no filter. I don't need any filters or triggers. Next, the code aid build stage. No, I don't have any building stage. Skip build stage. Skip. You can do certain stuff with building in between, but I'm not doing that. Deploy it and deploy it through CodeDeploy. And which application or which deployment method should I use? I should use the application method that I created previously, and the deployment group, I should use this one. Now next. Okay, so we are running an initial run here, but before that, let's discuss something very important. So I have done a few changes to our project already here, which is running in local with me here. And if you see this one changed word I have written here, then I have added an app spec YML, which is necessary for the code deploy to work. And what this app spec is a YAML file which instructs the code deploy what to do when you deploy the code in the server. So it says the source should be the root, meaning that This should be the source of the files, right? The destination should be home Ubuntu AWS DevOps project sample, and this is this path that we are right now. PWD, you can see this is the path where our code, our project is lying. So just copy this path and paste it in the destination path. Then overwrite true, meaning that whatever there is should be overwritable. Then we are file exist behavior. So if there is a file already existing, overwrite it. Then we have different stages of the code deploy. Application stop, before install, after install, application start, validate service. You can write your own versions here, the own steps here. But I have just written these 4 steps, for example. So the application stop will execute this shell commands or a list of shell commands, which is stop server.sh. It's already available in the deployment scripts here. Stop server, do nothing, right? You can write your own commands here. Then we have before install is here, right? It's again empty. Then we have after install. The after install have some things that I have written. So it says cd home ubuntu to that project and then sudo npm install dash dash force, right? Then we have server start. The server start has a few things here. So it first goes to the cd home ubuntu that project. Then it's su ubuntu, meaning it logs into ubuntu. It runs the command, and basically this abspect, these all commands, these are run by the root user. So if you want to run the start server file, this file, it needs to run the pm2 restart app.js command like this, the way that I have shown. Otherwise, when the command shell reaches to this path and you just simply run like that, here let me copy it, run like that, it will say that the pm2 command is not found because we have installed the pm2 and the path currently in the pm2 is bind to Ubuntu user, so the root user does not find the pm2 command and it throws an error and the pipeline crashes, right? And I have practiced this so many times, so that's why I'm writing this command, because the root will now use this command and it will go and follow the whole path of the pm2 and then run the pm2 command restart app.js. And we are running this because after the installing of the new npm install command, after this and sudo npm install force, we need to restart the server, otherwise the changes might not work, right? So this is the start server, and then we need to validate service, which is again, I guess, an empty file, but you can run your own commands here according to your need. Let's close all these deployment scripts, and this appspec.yml is already in the repository here for the sample project, and you can play with it a few hours if you want to. So let's see. We haven't created the pipeline yet. Let's create the pipeline. So okay, already duplicate names are not a policy called this one. Duplicate names are okay. Where is the policy? Let's see. Previous, previous, previous. Which policy is saying AWS CodePipe server slow? Okay, that policy is again making a problem. Let's see. Previous. Let's see. We would say AWS DevOps project policy. Okay, copy it and then advance. Everything is set. Next, the main and then the project. No filter. Next. Okay, build stage. Application name. This one. Let's see next. And let's see if that policy is changed now. Okay. Why is that? I think we need to change the deployment group or application. Let's see. I think we need to restart this again. Let's see, applications, leave it. And let me do that and come back again to that stage. Um, let's see if we can click it. Where are the policies? Let's edit it, edit. Hmm. This is the deployment group. This shouldn't be any problem. Okay, let's start the pipelines. Create a new pipeline, name it something differently. Pipeline for single server. Copy it. Okay. Okay, so the name is changed, I guess. Advanced, custom, and then the bucket. Next. Let's see, GitHub version 2. Connect to Git. Connect to Git, and we should name it connect to Git. We have given a name. Let's see. My personal repositories. Okay, the length should be less than 22. Connect. There are so many constraints here, but let's see. Repository name AWS, project sample, main branch, no triggers, next, skip build stage. We are skipping the build stage. Now the code deploy, application name, and project develop AWS project deployment group that we created. Next, and let's see. Okay, now it's creating. There was some service role name problem that we have solved now. Now see, it will pull the code from the GitHub, and then it will try to deploy it on the server. It succeeded and it's been deployed. Let's see, AWS CodeDeploy, go here, and then you can, and it's already succeeded. See, it's so fast, and you can see the events, and these are the actual stages that I showed you in the code. Application stop, download bundle, before install, install, after install, and see application start, validation start. So previously, if you saw the application or the server which was running the app, it was Node demo app. Now it will say something else. Refresh it. It's not changed. Okay. Now I understand. We didn't deploy anything yet, right? We didn't commit this code. Because if you see git status, it says modified but not added or not committed. Let's see if we can change this. Changed, and we can commit this code. Git status, git add, git commit -m with a message, and see changed. Git status, git push. Now if we push this code, now we have pushed it, it will be sensed by the pipelines here. Let's see, pipelines. It will be in progress now. See, it's in progress. Let's go to the pipeline inside and see it's been successfully pulled. Now go to the AWS CodeDeploy. It will be pulled, and then it will be run and deployed, and see the events. Is already succeeded. There is no error. So that means that we have run our pipeline successfully. Now see if we have some latest code here. We added the word changed. See, the change has come here. That means that our code pipeline has worked perfectly. So this was basically a single server deploy. We have used an S3 bucket. We have created an application here. Then inside the application we have created a deployment group. Then we come here to the pipelines, and in the pipelines we have created a pipeline with a lot of stuff connecting to the GitHub, and then creating these two stages. How can we pull the code from the GitHub, then put it in the S3 bucket, then from the S3 bucket we deploy it to the server. And yeah, so we have successfully uh, created a pipeline. So in the architecture, we could copy and paste it in the code pipeline section here, and then copy it and paste it here in the code deploy section. But we haven't done the deploy to the AWS, the auto scaling groups yet. We deployed it directly to the server. In the next video, I will be making changes to the repository, to the GitHub repository code, and then deploy it to multiple servers at the same time, right? And we will also see how can we use the load balancer in this process to block the traffic to the one server and leave it to the other. And then when that deploy is done to the first server, it will release the traffic there and then block it to the second server, and it will go like that, right? So I hope you like this video. If you have liked it and you have learned something new, please subscribe to my channel and like my videos. And also in this video's description, I have put all the the previous videos of this web series already. You can go and watch all those videos. And if you haven't understood anything, please watch my previous video step by step. I have described in very detail how things are working and how you should follow along in following this architecture. Thank you so much, and see you in the part 6 of this web series. Bye.